everybody, JC here from Toy News International and MarvelousNews.com. Now today I'm not going to do a straight out review like I normally do for this figure, the new Hasbro Marvel Legends X-Men Jim Lee style Cyclops figure. I decided to mix it up a little bit, and I'm going to be doing this as a Hasbro Jim Lee Cyclops versus the TOYBIZ Jim Lee Cyclops. And so I thought it'd be kind of a fun way to do this one. So again, I'm doing this more as a kind of a comparison to see which one is better between the TOYBIZ version, which was a classic, and this new Hasbro version. So first of all, starting off with the packaging, the Hasbro version comes in the standardized packaging we see with all the Marvel Legends. You've got the Legend series up at the top. The figure is clearly displayed. Down below, you've got the X-Men logo and the Marvel Cyclops one. Now, the original TOYBIZ one, which actually technically wasn't a Marvel Legend figure, it was actually part of an offshoot line of X-Men figures, came in a pretty generic type card back, which just had Wolverine at the top on all the figures in that wave. And then the figure was clearly displayed on the card back. And then down below, you had a little image of the character and the X-Men logo and everything. But very generic looking, like I said, having the Wolverine image at the top, no real kind of character art or anything like that on the figure. So the Hasbro one, of course, on the sides does have some artwork, some Jim Lee style artwork for the character. And then on the back, you've got an image of the figure, the brief bio, and then a look at all the other figures in the wave. So when it comes down to packaging, even though both were pretty standardized for the time, I got to give it to Hasbro with having a little more flair to it with the character art on the sides of the packaging and the brief bio on the back and everything. So I think the packaging goes to Hasbro. Okay, so here's a look at both figures outside of their packaging. And as far as accessories go, the only accessory that the Hasbro figure comes with is the Warlock leg for the Build-A-Figure. No other accessories with that one. The TOYBIZ version came with this funky looking kind of stand, and I don't actually have it anymore, or at least don't know where it is, so I don't have it to actually show you physically, so I can just show you a picture of it. But it was kind of a cheesy gimmick at the time. It was really just, like I said, it was kind of a display stand. And then the only thing cool about it is that it had these little things that would plug into the figure's back, and you can see the holes on the figure itself here. And you'd push it in, and it would cause the visor to light up. So that is actually kind of cool that it had a light up visor feature. It would have been much better if it was just a button that you could push to activate it as opposed to have to plug in that piece from the display base. But that, I kind of think, gives it an edge over the Hasbro figure that really has no kind of an effect for the visor. It doesn't light up, and you don't even get like a plastic piece to stick in there, so it looks like he's shooting his visor. So even though the TOYBIZ accessory was kind of corny, I still give the TOYBIZ figure the win here because of the light up visor feature. Okay, so next up, we'll take a look at the paint applications on these figures. Both have pretty solid paint applications, but I think you've got to give this one to TOYBIZ. You've got some nicer wash effect in the blues of the costume, so I like that. And even though this is a very old figure that I've had a long time and it's been out of the packaging and everything, it's held up pretty well over the years. You can see a little bit of bleeding on the yellow on the boots here. You can see some red that's come through. But again, as old as this figure is, and it's been out and on shelves and in bins and stuff over the years, I think it's held up pretty good. Now again, the Hasbro figure is pretty solid. I like the blue and the yellows and everything, but there's really no wash effect on this figure. It's very clean looking. And so again, when it comes to paint applications, I think I've got to give it to TOYBIZ here. For the head sculpts, I think both are pretty good looking. I think both companies did a good job, but I think there's a little more detail on the TOYBIZ version. The hair is sculpted a little bit nicer, and I like, again, the visor on this one. And then with the added paint applications on the hair and the skin tone and everything, I think it comes out looking a little bit nicer. Again, both are pretty good, but I think I've got to give the edge to the TOYBIZ figure when it comes to the actual head sculpt. Next up for sculpting detail on the overall figure. Now this one's a tough one because overall I've got to say that I like the look of the Hasbro one. The just more modern looking figure I think is better. As much as I love TOYBIZ figures, they have the bulkier shoulders, and this figure, the Cyclops figure, is a little bit on the scrawny side. I know his nickname was always Slim, but I think he's a little bit too scrawny looking. Now, one thing I don't like about the Hasbro figure as much is that the straps on this figure, the main strap on his chest and even the straps on his legs, are all separate pieces as opposed to being sculpted on the TOYBIZ version. I think the sculpted straps actually look better, and the biggest thing that annoys me with the Hasbro figure is these ones on the leg, they have a tendency to fall down. So if you're not careful, you end up having these straps just kind of fall down around his legs, and even these ones on his thighs can fall down, not as easily as the ones on his lower legs, but you know they will if you start moving the figure around. Will have a tendency to knock these straps loose. So I definitely like the sculpted straps. At the very least, they could have glued these so that they wouldn't fall down so easily. I think that would have been better. But just in general, I like the sculpted straps over the separate pieces. But in the overall win for this one, I am going to give it to Hasbro just because I think the more modern looking buck is a nicer fit for Cyclops than the scrawnier one that TOYBIZ used. Okay, so these figures measure, the Hasbro figure measures at about a little under 6.5 inches tall, and the TOYBIZ figure measures a little bit under 6.25 inches tall. Now, it's not unusual for older TOYBIZ figure to be shorter than a more modern Hasbro figure, so comparing these two scale-wise is not really a fair comparison. But let's take a previous Hasbro Cyclops with the Marvel Now Cyclops and compare it to this new Hasbro Cyclops figure. And then we'll take the classic Cyclops from TOYBIZ and compare it with the TOYBIZ Jim Lee Cyclops. And when you stack these up with one another, I think they're about the same. Both the TOYBIZ figures seem to be about the same height. Maybe the classic Cyclops is a little bit taller, and then the two Hasbro figures seem to be about the same height. Now, the one area where, again, the TOYBIZ one kind of falters is you can see how much scrawnier this TOYBIZ figure is over even the classic TOYBIZ Cyclops figure. But height-wise, between these four, they seem to be pretty even. Now, keeping in mind that this TOYBIZ Cyclops, again, is not an actual true Marvel Legend. It was an offshoot line. So I do think it was made a little bit smaller than most regular TOYBIZ Marvel Legends. So we'll also take a comparison with a TOYBIZ Wolverine figure, in a tiger stripe outfit. And there were several that were released, but we'll take this one. And, Wolverine is actually almost the same height as Cyclops, whereas I would peg Wolverine to be shorter. Now, a little bit that is because of the mask, so that's kind of hard to say. But let's also take a Hasbro Wolverine figure in the tiger stripe outfit and compare. And I think the scale between the two Hasbro figures is a little bit closer to what we see in the comic than between the TOYBIZ ones. Now, it's close, so it's kind of hard. But I guess if I had to give overall size to one or the other, I would give it to the Hasbro one in this case. Okay, so when it comes to articulation, this Hasbro figure is using the Bucky cap mold, so it's got pretty good articulation overall. You can turn the head to the left and to the right. You've got good down movement, and then you can look up good as well. Arms attached with your standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder, so he can get his arm out good. He's got good rotation. He's got a bicep swivel, double hinged elbow, so good bending there. He's got swivels at the wrist, hinges on the hands, so good up and down movement with the hands. He's got an ab crunch joint, so he can crunch down pretty good, and he can look back pretty good as well. He's got a waist swivel. Legs are attached with ball joints. He can do the splits about that much. He can get his leg forward pretty good, and he can do his leg back about that much. He's got a thigh swivel, double jointed knee, so good bending at the knee. Then he's got the boot cuff swivel and the hinges on the feet, and he does have ankle pivot and two peg holes on the bottom of it. For the TOYBIZ one, you can turn the head to the left and to the right, but he really doesn't have any back or forth movement, mainly because he's got the light up eye feature, so I think that limited some of the head movement with this one. Arm was attached with a standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder, so he had good rotation and he can get the arm out good. Bicep swivel, double hinged elbow, so good bending at the elbows, swivels at the wrist, and then hinges on the hand, so good up and down movement with the hand. And then this one had some finger articulation, the two pointing fingers, so you could have it up at his visor. And then with this one, he had all the fingers were articulated together. But again, you do have some finger articulation with this one. An ab crunch joint, so he can crunch down about that much, and he can look back about that much. Waist swivel. Legs are attached, so he can actually do the splits really good. He can get his leg forward good, and he can do his leg back about that much. Thigh swivel, double jointed knee, boot cuff swivel, hinges on the feet, so up and down movement. He does not have ankle pivot, though. He does have toe articulation and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. So articulation is a close call between these two. The TOYBIZ figure has got the toe and finger articulation, but it has a lack of movement with the head and no ankle articulation. So in this case, I'm going to give it to Hasbro since it does have good up and down movement with the head and does have that ankle articulation. So that's it for the review. As for the final verdict, I've got to say it was a pretty close call. I'm actually a little surprised because when I started this, I thought the Hasbro figure would win hands down. It's just a more modern looking figure. But the TOYBIZ one, getting reacquainted with it really kind of surprised me. Definitely the TOYBIZ figure has better paint applications, and I like the light up feature with the visor, even though you need the cheesy kind of extra accessory piece to go with it to actually activate it. But I still like the fact that you could make the visor light up on that figure. The Hasbro one doesn't have anything like that, really doesn't have any accessories at all other than the Warlock Build-A-Figure piece. And the TOYBIZ one didn't have a Build-A-Figure piece because, again, it wasn't part of the actual Marvel Legends main line. But in the end, when I have to, if you ask me which one I would rather display on my shelf, I think I would have to give it overall to Hasbro. I just like the more modern build on the figure. The TOYBIZ one suffers from those broad shoulders, and the overall figure was just a little bit too scrawny, even for other TOYBIZ standards. And the articulation is a little bit better on the Hasbro one as well, with the ball hinge joint at the neck and the ankle pivot for the feet. So in the end, even though it was a very close call, I've got to give the win to Hasbro on this one. So the Hasbro figure is hitting shelves now. You can pick it up at places like Big Bad Toy Store. We'll have a full image gallery for both figures up at marvelousnews.com. I'll put a link in the video description below for that. Also, I would love to hear your thoughts. Which one would you rather display on your shelf? Which one do you like better? And also, I would like to hear from you guys. What do you think of this kind of review, a versus review as opposed to just a standard figure review? Do you think it's more interesting? Not so much? Let me know in the comment section below. You can follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description as well. And please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.